Hello and welcome back to the Scottish Comic Book Show, because we'll just name it a different thing every time we do this. Captain Marvel number 3. It's very hard for me not to call him Captain Marvel because I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Captain Marvel fan. It just suits him better. Captain Marvel, he's Captain Marvel. I don't really particularly... I just said that I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Captain Marvel fan, but I don't really mind. It's a whole legal thing. On the tip of my brain and on the tip of my tongue, every time I want to talk about Shazam, I refer to it as Captain Marvel. I don't read Captain Marvel. I'm not a big Marvel fan, so it doesn't really come up. And for most of my life, he was referred to as Captain Marvel. If you're new to comics, there's a whole thing. DC have a Captain Marvel. Marvel have the Captain Marvel. It's kind of weird that DC had a Captain Marvel because Marvel's called Marvel. Comics are weird. There was a whole legal thing. Now the big red super... I was going to show you a picture of him, but it's Mr. Mind that's on the cover. The big red Superman lookalike is called Shazam. The space cosmic lady is called Captain Marvel. It's the whole thing. It's basically just going to trip me up when I'm talking about them. It's unfortunate. But yes, Mr. Mind. Look at that. Look at that art. It's a great cover. It's a very good cover. Look, Mr. Mind, and he's in like a wee alcove somewhere where like mice are spying on him while he like does magic stuff in a wee pot with a wee bottle cap. It's a really good cover. It's a really characterful cover. I wouldn't say it's my cover of the year, because I think that one where Hal Jordan was challenging God came out this year. I think if it didn't, then very characterful. It's getting there. I have enjoyed this book a lot since it came out. A lot of my enjoyment comes from the fact that there is a Captain Marvel. See, there I did it. See, I didn't even think about that now. It was just on the tip of my brain. I just referred to him as Captain Marvel because that's what I think of him as. It's magical. It's magical that there's a Shazam book out. And I know it's because it's to tie in, or not to tie in, but to cash in on the hopeful success of that film that they're doing. I should probably give my 2 cents on that film. It looks like they're doing a Shazam film right, doesn't it? It's really encouraging. I haven't liked pretty much most of the DC films. I liked Wonder Woman, and I liked Wonder Woman. I haven't seen Aquaman. Was Aquaman the last thing? It was Justice League, then Aquaman? Am I missing something? Am I forgetting something? I don't think so. Those DC films have been bad. They have been basically all right to the very end of the scale, which I would call anti-life. And hopefully the Shazam film, from the looks of things, will be pretty good. It looks like an all ages superhero thing, which is what Shazam has become and is and kind of was and will one day be again. And this is what this book is doing. It's a proper Shazam comic. It's a wee bit not necessarily what I would expect out of a first arc of a kind of not film tie-in, but a film cash-in. It's kind of like a direct continuation of the big Goth Johns. And if you're not new to the channel, I will refer to Jeff Johns as Goth Johns because I've been doing so for like a decade. How can you not just see his name and read the word goth? Where is it? Yeah, Johns without the goth, so this isn't helpful. But yeah, I'm going to put that down now because it's getting in the way. It's like a direct continuation of his backup pages from the Justice League run he did, where Billy Batson was like a street kid and he was a bit of a street tough, and he was taken in by the family, and blah 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 blah. The abduction family. Why am I saying abduction family? Why am I drawing a blank? The adoption family. He was taken in, and then he got a family. Those issues are really, really good. I would 1,000% recommend them. I think they got collected into a trade, so you don't have to have the individual issues of Justice League. You don't have to buy whatever run it was backing up. I feel like it was not that great an arc at the time. Maybe I was wrong. Correct me in the comments. It's been so long. That run was really good. Shazam has a great history of having at least from when I've been reading comics for the last 10-ish years, of having good little contained issues. The Multiversity issue that Morrison did was amazing. I'll stand by it. It's really, really good. The Convergence issues of Shazam were bloody fantastic. The art was incredible. The vibe was incredible. It was the Shazam family versus the Gotham by Gaslight crew, and the art was just to die for. It was fantastic. I urge you to find them. I think they are collected in a trade somewhere with some other Convergence stuff. Definitely the thing to see though is the Shazam things. And the thing, the run that Goff Johns had in the back of Justice League was really, really good as well. It was different. It was definitely his trademark, I'm going to update a character for a potential film, and it looks like that's basically what they're adapting, or at least taking a heck of a lot of inspiration from for the new film. So kudos to Goff. He knows how to take a silly property and be like, I'm going to make a film out of that in 5 to 10 years. Didn't really go that well for Green Lantern. I don't know how well he was. I don't know how integrated he was into that process. It didn't look like very much, but that was a shame, really. That film is fine. Shazam isn't necessarily, like I was saying earlier, the kind of comic I was expecting. I was expecting a kind of bigger and like bolder kind of. It's not to say it's not bold. It's not to say it's not brave and bold, but it's a more kind of. They spend a lot of time unmorphed, which is, I suppose, the way to go, because there's a heck of a lot of characters. I like his extended family. I really do. I think it's a good, like, making the central comic concept of the Marvel family, or the Shazam family. There, I did it again, is a good Gothism and a good kind of grounding, and it means you get your kind of 90s Ranger team, your kind of Burger King kids club of like, these have all been adopted from different broken homes or whatever. That's what it kind of looks like, because Mary Marvel has a really good backstory issue, and I think issue 1, where she runs away from her abusive home, and the art style is really nice. I feel like the barrier to entry with this comic might be the art style, which I feel like it's probably off-putting to some people. I really like it. I think it's cool. I think it's expressive. It reminds me again, like I was saying about Green Lantern, Green Lantern's current art. It's kind of old styley. It's more dense. It's more that kind of, again, not like photorealism, but more kind of realistic-ish, staticky-er, older art. I don't have any good descriptors for what I'm trying to talk about. I feel like there'll be a lot of videos that'll crop up, and it's like, oh, top 10 worst artworks of the year in comic books, and people will point to this. And I think quite unfairly, because it's good. It's good. It's just not what I thought would be. I thought it'd be more cartoony. It'd be more bold. Like I say, the little backup in issue 1 with Mary's story is very manga, very anime, very fluid, very kind of pastels and modern. Like I assumed it would be modern, but that's not quite what the main art is, and it's kind of surprising because you think they would lean on that, because Captain Marvel's. There I did it again. Shazam is a big kind of all ages kind of thing, and usually its art is quite cartoony, and it benefits from that. But I guess this art is kind of trying to ape. I don't know if this is the same artist. I don't think it is the same artist, but it's kind of do a continuation of the art style that was in. Is it the same artist? It doesn't look like the same artist, but I've done literally no research, so I've only got myself to blame on this one. Let me know in the comments, because that's what all the YouTubers do, engagement. I like it. I've waffled on for 10 minutes, but it's a good story. I think you should read it. I basically give Shazam Comics all of the money so they can keep making them, because they keep happening but not happening, and hopefully now that he's got a feature film under his belt, they'll just be like a kind of mainstay. Like, I think there should always be a Shazam/Captain Marvel book on the shelves, because he's Superman, but without a lot of the baggage that you would have with a Superman book, because you can do stuff, because he's like an iconic character that you can't really deviate that much from, but he has a lot more space to do adaptational stuff with, because you could do stuff with Captain Marvel that's a lot more cartoony or a lot more real, like this one is, and I feel like a lot less people would kick off as they would with Superman, because I mean, I'd be one of those people kicking off. Like, I'm part of the problem. I am part of the problem, but I would kick off if Superman like changed from what I believed him to be, probably quite wrongly, but part of the problem. So there's stuff that you can do with Captain Marvel that isn't being done, and I feel like that's because he's seen as like he's the big red cheese and whatever. He's silly, but just have like a silly superhero book on the shelves forever. Like, even when you're doing big, brave, bold, epic Superman, a lot of the time it's not necessary. It's like just trying to be cool, or it's trying to appeal to modern sensibilities. Just have a Shazam book where it's like Shazam doing big, dumb superhero stuff for ages. I would love that. I suppose I should talk about the content of issue 3. They're on this quest. They've decided, the Shazam family, that they need to investigate the powers that they have. They need to investigate the Rock of Eternity, and they got on one of the trains, because you know how like trains are like intrinsic to the Shazam for some reason, because it's the 30s, I guess. Trains were cool. So there's this dimensional train that takes you to the Rock of Eternity. They got on the train, I believe, and went to one of these like lands, because like Geoff Johns is big into his lore and his like adding lore around characters. So there's these like 7 lands. I'll get the map out, because there's a map in this comic, and putting a map of your lore into a comic is a surefire way to my heart. So yeah, like looking at that, there's bits and bobs, and I feel like this map is impressive in concept, but not necessarily in execution, because it's just like, what is any of this? Like, what is the Wazderlands? And then you turn the page, and like one of the characters is like, what is the Wazderlands? Like, it's like Wonderlands, but with Oz in the middle. So is that the Wizard of Oz? Like, because Warner Bros. Does own that. So are they going to do like a Wizard of Oz thing in DC? That would be incredible. I mean, it would be something. I don't know if it would be incredible. I'm not a Wizard of Oz fan. I'm not 107. That probably comes off as spiteful. I don't. Wizard of Oz fans, please don't come after me. But yes, they're off. Like, look at that. Look at that page. Look at that. Isn't that just lovely? Like, I remember. I should talk about this. I remember when I think it was the last-ish issue of that Geoff Johns backup issues in Justice League for the Shazam came out, and it was the big issue where they debuted the Shazam family. It wasn't just that Billy had the powers; he gave it to all of his extended family, and you would expect it to just be like Mary and Freddie. I'm always bad; I can never remember Freddie's name, but you think it would just be them because they're traditionally the characters that turn into superheroes. They give it to all of them, and there's just like a full Ranger team of the Shazam family, and there's toys out of them for the new film. Spoilers, but there will always be spoilers. Should have started with that, but yes, making Shazam into a Ranger team, like a Power Ranger team of Shazams, it was an incredible moment in comics. If I ever make my top 10 moments in comics, I would probably put that quite high on the list, because it was right in the heart, wherever the heart is located on the Pac-Man shirt. But yeah, that was amazing. I'm glad they've continued that. I'm glad that they didn't take the opportunity to reboot it to just be Billy and then Mary and then Freddie. They've stuck with the characters, and they're going to do more stuff with them. And it looks like they've split them all up to put them in these little different realms. And they've gone to the fun lands, where it's immediately gone wrong, because there were these sinister clown puppet things being controlled by King Kid. Kid King? Kid King sounds better, doesn't it? Is it Kid King? Yes, no, it's King Kid, which doesn't sound as good to my ears. Kid King, King Kid, immediately wrongin' looking. He's just, I think it's he. They refer to him as he. He's like this kind of Peter Pan type character who like went to the Funlands, and the Funlands are like the room of requirement from Harry Potter, or the room in Steven's room, where you can like imagine stuff and it'll appear. So the Funlands provide for all these children, and it's a good time to the like kind of I keep saying abduction. Why do I keep saying abduction? The adoption thing, because all these kind of like kids with having a bad time or bad homes find themselves in the Funlands, and it's this big massive amusement park type thing. I never find that fun. Like anime had like a wee trend for that a while. Kids anime, like there was a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were like whoa, Funland stuff, and like it was a big kind of I want to say vibe design element. It was a big design element for a couple of years back then. I just never get it. Never get it. It's because I don't have fun. I don't want fun. I just want lore. I just need box soft, filed lore. That's what's fun. But they go there and it immediately goes wrong. They have a good time, but then it immediately goes wrong. And it's good. It's good, like adventure stuff. I think the dialogue is not the Goth's best dialogue, I want to say, but it's all right. It's serviceable. I'm looking forward to future issues because this issue ends with the party getting split up, which is I think something they had to do to get more stuff on the go because they were kind of stalling a bit in the Funlands. They introduced a concept in the first issue that they've not gone back to at all, except for a little brief dialogue about it in the second issue, which means I suppose they did go back to it, but it doesn't feel like they've gone back to it. It feels like they introduced this thing, and it's the kind of thing holding over the series, but they're just not talking about it because they went off to the Funlands, and that is that Billy's biological dad rocked up and was like, yo, I'm Billy's dad. I'm here to chat with my son. And you'd think 3 issues in they would have addressed that in some way. Like I say, they talked about it in issue 2, like they were like, this thing happened, but it was mostly, to keep readers up to speed. It wasn't like addressing the issue. But that's going to be something, isn't it? What's Billy's dad? Answers on a postcard down in the comms. But I think he'll be a wrongin'. I think he'll provide conflict for the story somehow. Magical, maybe villainous, potentially. He looks like Captain Marvel. He looks like Shazam, which I thought was hilarious. Obviously, that's an idea that Goff's had. He's obviously like chuckled away to himself. He's like, hey, I bet Billy's dad looks like Shazam. Like I bet he's because he'll grow into be like that's a good visual joke. And I laughed a lot when I saw that in the back page of issue 1. But yeah, it's been a good run. It's been really solid, if not necessarily the kind of big daft fun I was expecting. But I hope it keeps going. I hope people like the film. God, I hope people like the film. Not because I need the film to succeed. I just want the film to do well so that they keep making Shazam books because they don't make enough of them. But that's been a 17-minute Christ. That's been a 17-minute review waffle of Captain Marvel. I'm just gonna call it Captain Marvel. He's Captain Marvel. It's fine. Send the lawyers. Don't send the lawyers. But yes. Like, comment, and subscribe. I like saying that because I'm the worst type of human being. Like, comment, and subscribe. And there's a Patreon that's somewhere. Can you find it? I'm not going to link it because I'm bad at it. But yes, thanks for watching. It's been good. I didn't think I would waffle this long, and you are enabling me.